Hi everyone, welcome once again to A.O.S Abroad. Thank you very, very much for joining today's wonderful episode, and we really appreciate to have everyone on board. Um, welcome. For those that know me already, I am Aziz Olashidiru, and today we are going on live, particularly on Instagram, on YouTube, and also on TikTok. So today we have another wonderful discussion that we are going to actually be taking today. Today we have something that may actually rack your socks, something that you may really want to know about. You understand in terms of Canada immigration, and we have a very good news. Yes, a very good news today for those who would like to actually learn more about what Canada has to offer. And today we are on three social media platforms. We're on TikTok, we're on YouTube, we're also on Instagram. And today we want to talk about the news that we got from Canada. The very good news that we have been expecting something similar, and we are still expecting more good news. This is not only the news we are actually expecting, but this good news is a good news that at least for now I feel we can share with one another. We can learn about, everyone can discuss about it, and kind of see how you can actually benefit basically from the what they call it, the broadcast, the news article. If for instance you want to join us maybe on LinkedIn, on YouTube, or on TikTok, then of course you can surely join. Just go on any of those platforms, and A.O.S Abroad is the name. But I'm going to be actually showing a live, or having a live session as well, just like we're having right now on YouTube. And I will be making use of YouTube to actually read the article. So if you want to see the article that we are going to be talking about today, you understand, you can also go on our YouTube page, A.O.S Abroad, to actually see the news article as I am reading it, you understand, live on that platform. But again, you'd always be hearing the audio, of course, on other platforms as well. So let us know where you are joining us from. Do you understand? That would really help us to also fine tune today's discussion very well for your own particular scenario. So if you have any questions whatsoever when we are taking the live session, you can ask, you understand, and we would surely do justice to responding to your question as we actually go on the platform. So let's move on to the what do you call it now, to the newsletter article. I'm going to be sharing, as I said, I'll be presenting on YouTube. I don't know if we can present on TikTok or if we can present on Instagram. If we can present, maybe you can let me know if it is possible for us to present, and then we may be able to present. But if not, let's just go to the website. So the website that I'm actually reading from today is CIC News, and CIC News is the Canada Immigration Citizenship News. And Quebec reopens three, not just one. They reopened three immigration pilot programs for workers in different sectors. In different sectors. Now, what does that mean? That means that we are having the opportunity to not just what do you call it now? To not just apply to just one province or to just one program. If you qualify, if you qualify, you can apply to two programs at the same time, or three. Do you understand? And Quebec, of course, is not the only province that you can apply to. Other provinces, for those that actually joined us the last session we had, I talked about Manitoba, and I said that one of our clients who was actually selected from Manitoba. Do you understand? Our DIY client, she was selected from Manitoba. She got the letter of what do you call it, the LOA, letter to apply. Do you understand? And we're so joyful, we're so happy to actually, after so long of actually expecting the invitation, she got an invitation from Manitoba, the province of Manitoba, under the provincial nominee program. So Quebec is just one province. There are still other provinces you can also be qualified for. There are still other provinces you can apply to. There are still other provinces you can have your what? You can have your expression of interest. You understand? Expression of interest profile sentence. So without wasting much time, let's go down to what we have today. Now, based on what you can see, you understand, it states that on the website that Quebec is reopening three permanent immigration pilot programs on January 13th, 2025, which was yesterday. You understand, we got the message yesterday. It was a wonderful message, and we were so glad that years after waiting for some time, we are now receiving good news about that, what about those pilot programs. Now, what are these pilot programs? We'll talk about it. Now, we said they reopened the three pilot programs aimed at addressing labor shortages in specific sectors. So it is not for all sectors, it is for some major sectors. Now, what are those sectors that are lacking labor, that are lacking skilled workers? Now, they want to inform us. They said successful applicants to these programs can receive Canadian, I say Canadian permanent residency, the PR visa. So they can become um, a visa holder, a permanent resident visa holder, and they would also have their PR status. Do you understand? Once they apply to those what they call it, to those pilot programs, and they get accepted, they get approved, basically. Now, what are these programs? He said these programs originally introduced in 2021 are designed to attract skilled workers to the province in key industries. Now, many of you may be someone still even reached out to me, is it yesterday or the day before yesterday, saying that she heard that Canada is no more inviting people. You understand? She heard that now it is much more difficult for people to option and things like that. And I do always tell people anytime they ask similar questions that you have to go on the immigration website yourself. You understand? The IRCC, the Immigration Refugees and Citizenship Canada website yourself. Go on it and find out yourself. Are they not? You see, this thing is, well, the Yorubas will say it "Àwọn ojú ni kò ń ṣàwọn ọmọ." So it is something that is glaring. It's something that you yourself you can find out the information, the right information, not focus on hearsay. Okay, someone is asking a question. Eke Lizzie said, please go straight to the information. Well, I don't know you, and I don't know your own what do you call it? I don't know if this is the first time you're actually coming on board, but if you want to go straight to the information, it's very simple. You can also browse it yourself. You understand, and go straight to the information. All this information we are sharing is also important. Do you understand? So please, there's no force. There's no force to be here. We didn't force you to come to our live session. Do you understand? If you want to go straight to the you can browse it out. That's why we always put what they call it. We always put titles on our live sessions. We said Canada reopens three pilots. You can just browse it, put it on Google. Just like I tell people, I tell people every time. You can just go straight to it and read the things yourself. If you don't want to benefit from the other informations we are sharing, there's no problem. There's no force in it. Do you understand? Now, what we were saying in essence was that some people were asking that is Canada immigration, are they actually blocking, or are they obstruct, or are they not picking people, are they not inviting people again? And I was trying to explain to you that if you hear something outside, even if it's what I say, if you hear something from anybody, do you understand? Especially someone that is not licensed, regulated, or registered. Do you understand? Browse it yourself. Find out that okay, I heard this so and so thing. Is it true? Do you understand? You can browse. In fact, ChatGPT, for instance, is one way you can get some information. Now, even though sometimes you need to be careful because it can be wrong sometimes. But don't just say, I heard that Canada is no longer accepting people because they want to regulate their population, as the person said, and due to the upcoming election. You need to find out yourself. And finding out Google is your friend. Going on the Canada.ca website yourself would make you know what is prevalent, what is correct, what you are hearing outside. Is it correct with what Canada is saying? Do you understand? Now, Canada in general is different from Quebec. Do you understand? Because Quebec has its own immigration pathways. It has how it judges its own immigration, how it addresses its own immigration. And even though there are still some categories that have been blocked from the mainstream Canada, which is all the other provinces except Quebec, Quebec has now opened three major pilot programs for certain skilled workers in three different sectors. Now, let's talk about those sectors. We said the three programs that they have opened are: one, the Permanent Immigration Pilot Program for Food Processing Workers, PPTA. Now, some people may want to ask, who are these kind of people? When they say food processors, people that are in charge of the foods that we are eating, basically, people that are working in companies and factories that are responsible for processing foods and making them available for us to eat. Do you understand? So a particular instance of that may be someone that is a food attendant. Do you understand? You can be a food attendant, you can be a cook. Do you understand? And you may have the opportunity to come into Canada as a permanent resident by virtue of the experience you have, you understand, in that particular industry. So if you are part of the food processors, you are part of, and we're still going to give you lists. Do you understand? And that is why we have some of these live sessions, because some of the information we share here, you understand, it goes a little bit in depth, in details, so that you'll be able to be much more informed and do things yourself based on the information you actually get. Now, that's the first pilot program, the Permanent Immigration Pilot Program for Food Processing Workers, PPTA. Now, the second pilot program is the Permanent Immigration Pilot Program for beneficial attendants. Beneficial Beneficiary attendant. Sorry, that's a beneficial. Beneficiary attendant. That is the PPPAB. Now, some of you may be new to these kind of programs, because yes, we have talked about express entry before, provincial nominee programs, category-based jobs, and things like that. But we have not talked about the beneficiary attendants. Who are the beneficiary attendants? We are still going to be talking about them in detail. But let's move on. The third set of people, or the third skilled workers that they are inviting, are the what? The Permanent Immigration Pilot Program, which are centered on workers in the artificial intelligence, information technology, and visual effects sector. That's PPIA TIEV. And I am so happy for this. In fact, I am overjoyed for this, because for those that know, I'm in the artificial intelligence space, I'm in the data science space, you understand? And I know that a lot of people that qualify, if you qualify, you can have the opportunity to come, because they are looking for people that are in that niche. They are looking for people that are IT specialists. Now, I was talking about the fact that the Canadian immigration is different from the Quebec immigration. And this shows it, because for the Canadian immigration, there is more focus on other three categories without what? Without the tech or the IT or the STEM occupations right now. But currently now, Quebec has now reopened, do you understand? It reopened pilot programs for those in particular sector of what? The STEM occupations, those in basically artificial intelligence, those related to data science, and those that are into what? Those that are into anything related to visual effects. So we are still going to be giving you examples of job descriptions or job roles that fit into those three pilot programs. But let's also read continuously what the government of Canada says about the programs they just introduced. Now, they said that the what they call it, the government has set new guidelines for these programs. Now, the ways you have known about the program before may be different from what is prevalent now. They said from January 13th, which was last night, basically, or yesterday, until December 31st, 2025, which is the end of this year, a total of 600 applications will be accepted for each of the what? PPTA and PPPAB programs. And which are the PPTA and BAP programs. They are the what? They are the permanent immigration pilot programs for what? For food processing workers, and what? The permanent immigration pilot program for what? For the beneficiary attendant. Now, moving on, they are telling us that for the PPIA TIEV programs, which is the Permanent Immigration Pilot Program for workers in the artificial intelligence, information technology, and visual effects sectors, the 600 applications will be equally split between one, the artificial intelligence AI component, and the information technology and visual effects TIEV component. In other words, what they mean is that each component of the PPIA TIEV will allocate a maximum of 150 applications in the sensitization profile. Now, for those that know the Arima portal or knows the concept of sensitization, and you understand what they call it, the sensitization programs of Quebec, you know that those that can speak French or those that have the opportunity to actually, you understand, thrive in a French speaking community would have the opportunity to actually apply. And the faster you apply, the better your chances. Because again, 600 applications is not much. But the faster you apply and you get the opportunity to move into Quebec, the better your chances. Now, they are telling us that these pilot programs are set to expire on January 1st, 2026. So, what are they telling us? They are telling us that less than a year now, it's going to expire. So, those that will be selected, those that will have the opportunity to be picked and move to Quebec, are those that what are those that are fast, you understand, in basically working on their eligibility on their eligibility criteria. Now, what are the eligibility criteria, you may ask? For the PPTA, which is the Permanent Immigration Pilot Program, for what? For food processing workers. If you're under the food processing workers, you stand a fair chance. They said, one, your age, you have to be 18 years or older. Two, you need to have the intention to settle in Quebec. You understand? Take up employment in a company over which you have no legal or de facto control and in an eligible sector. Now let's break this down so that you understand what they mean. They mean that you are willing to work, you understand, as a skilled worker and not start a business or not have a control over the business. You understand? So you are not like a director or like a shareholder in that, you understand, organization. Again, your education and diploma, you need to have a secondary school diploma at the least, barest minimum, or a professional studies diploma from Quebec, you understand, obtained in a full-time study program of at least 1 year. So some people, for instance, are saying, okay, now they want to go and work in Quebec. You understand? Some are saying they want to go and study in Quebec. You understand? In order to have that eligibility, in order to, okay, like some people have been trying to come into mainstream Canada, Ontario, and other places. They have not gotten luck with it. And some are getting luck with going to Quebec to actually study and to work. So if you want to also go to Quebec, if you have the opportunity to actually get to Quebec, then this program can actually be of benefit to you. Now, job eligibility. They said you need to hold an eligible full-time job in an eligible what? In an eligible sector in Quebec. Now, what's the work experience criteria? You need to have at least 24 months of eligible full-time work experience in Quebec, you understand, within the 36 months preceding the application. Yes, some people may not qualify for that. So basically what they mean is that they are looking for people that are already in that place. You understand, they have been working for some time before they applied. You understand, they have the opportunity to, you understand, get that education, credentials, experience, and everything. Now, in an eligible sector, now in a business over which you have no de facto, yes, they have said that work experience cannot be in an ineligible sector. So it has to be in an eligible sector. You understand? You can, for instance, be a driver already. Do you understand? Working menial jobs, and you now want to take a cook job or a sales attendant job or maybe like a food server job because of this, it won't work. Basically, it won't work. Now they say eligible occupations. Must You must work in one of the following NOC occupations: CNP 94141, 95106, 95107, 65311, 94140, 85310, and 94142. So you can just type that okay, the NOC of 94142, just type it on Google and you see that NOC. Anyone that you qualify for, then you can use that. Now, eligible sector: food manufacturing, which is NICE 311, and beverage manufacturing, which is NICE 3121. Now they are saying French language proficiency, the knowledge of spoken French at level 7. And that this is the beauty of Quebec. Quebec will tell you that you need to have spoken French. But people always think maybe that's all the what, all the skills. Unlike mainstream Canada that would say yes, your band 7 must be in speaking, listening, reading, writing. In Quebec, most times, once you are okay in the speaking and the listening, the writing and the reading doesn't really matter that much. Do you understand? So you can have NCLC level of what, band 7 in the speaking and the listening, and all other NCLC levels in the other reading and writing, and still stand a fair chance, you understand, on the Quebec scale of competence levels, you understand, or its equivalence. Now, financial independence: you need to be able to demonstrate that you are financially independent, just like in other programs. Work experience requirements: your work experience must be legal, it must be paid. So someone that is illegal, someone that is working under the table, cannot have this opportunity. And that's why we always tell people that it won't pay you if you are working, you understand, in the underground economy. It won't pay you, because at the end of the day, you may need some things that you won't be able to actually get, or you'll be able to apply for, by virtue of the kind of what do you call it, work you are actually doing in Canada. Now, moving on, they are saying that it has to be legal, it has to be paid, it has to be full time, 30 hours per week or more. You understand? And you have to have obtained in the company that you don't have any control over. Now, they said French language documentation. People don't even know this, that you must provide supporting documents such as final transcripts, certificate, or French language test results, TCF Quebec, TCF Canada, or TEF. Now, some people don't know this. The beauty of this program is that your final transcript, maybe you studied in a school in Quebec, may be used for your French language documentation. Do you understand? Your certificates that you get may be used for your what? French language documentation. And you can get more information on the Quebec website. So I'll not really go much into the other programs, like the permanent immigration program for what? For those under the what? Those under the PAB, the PPPAB. Yes, because we have two components under that: the work component and the work study component. The work study, most of it, the requirement is mostly the same. The only difference, do you understand, is that yes, you have to meet the French language proficiency requirement. Of course, certain certificates and diplomas, you may not need to actually use your TCF or to take any TCF, any French exam, basically, whether TCF, TEF, you understand, you may not need to do that under the work or work study component. And the same applies to everything that you understand you got before. Now, what are the key components when it comes to specific programs under the permanent immigration pilot program? Do you understand? The major thing is that yes, they said you need to have at least some work experience, whether be it 12-month work experience before you apply, or 24 months of experience before you apply. Of course, they are telling us that you need to have, for those that are under the beneficiary attendance program, you need to have experience in healthcare. You understand? And you can hold a job as a beneficiary attendant in Quebec, or equivalent experience outside of Quebec in the healthcare sector. Whether you studied or not, you studied or you didn't study, any which, or whether you have the study permit which you studied with, or a work permit after completing your study permit, you just need to be employed or to be hired by a Quebec what? By a Quebec employer. And basically what they are trying to say is your education must be sorted, your work experience must be sorted, your language requirements must be sorted, and you must have educational certificates to back that up. You understand? And you must be in an eligible profession, the profession that yes is eligible for that particular what? For that particular pilot. Now moving on, let's talk about the permanent immigration pilot program for artificial intelligence, information technology, and what? Visual effects. Now they said for the artificial intelligence component, we have one aside. We also have another component which is under the information technology and visual what effects, including like video games and all other components. They are now telling us that the two components share the same eligibility requirements and also have their own unique requirements, just like the first two that we took. And the major requirement that you can see is that yes, you need to be 18 years and above, you need to be willing to settle in Canada, you need to be working in a company that you don't have control over, you understand, and you need to be able to support yourself financially. But the differences, when we're talking about the differences, is that for AI, which is artificial intelligence, you need to have at least a diploma, which is equivalent to a Quebec baccalaureate. You understand? You need to have 24 months of experience, which is roughly 2 years. You understand? You need to not use work experience with a company over which you have a control over. That means a company that you started yourself, you can't use that company. Or you need to hold a master's or doctorate degree from Quebec if you have it obtained within the past 12 months. You know, so if you don't, then the baccalaureate may work in place of it. You know, so you need to hold or have accepted a full-time job in the artificial intelligence sector in Quebec. You understand? And with a gross salary. Now, this is very important. They said with a gross annual salary of at least $75,000. You understand? The employer is outside of what? Communauté métropolitaine de Montréal, which is CMM, or at least 100,000 if it is within that communauté métropolitaine de Montréal. You understand? Now, we said the job must be with a company that you don't have control over, and the eligibility for those that graduated. If, for instance, you were in a Quebec school, in a Quebec university, you graduated from a college, or so to speak, anywhere around that, then you need to show that you have studied there for at least half of their program, the program of the artificial intelligence. You have obtained the university diploma from the Quebec institution, you understand, within the last 24 months, or you were certified as a special under the specialized higher education, the DESS, or a master's degree or a doctorate, and you hold either a DESS diploma, you understand, you have a full-time employment in one of the 012 tier system code job opportunities within the 12 months of completing the program, and yes, you also hold a full-time employment in the artificial intelligence sector in Quebec. Now, basically, what are they saying with everything? What I want you to note from this is that when you are into artificial intelligence, do you understand? If you are someone that you are skilled in the IT sector, you have a very good opportunity to also migrate to Quebec and actually, you understand, have the opportunity to stay there permanently. Now, for those under the information technology as well, or the virtual effect, yes, if you have a diploma, you understand, similar to the technical college diploma of Quebec, you understand, or the baccalaureate in Quebec, you also stand a fair chance, and you have work experience of the 24 months we talked about, you hold full-time employment and things like that, you stand a fair chance. And they said for you to be eligible for franchisation, you understand, under the Arima portal or the profile, you need to first of all have your transcripts. You understand? That is very important. Your transcript has to confirm at least 3 years of full-time study in French, or either in your secondary or post-secondary education. So whether when you were in your secondary school or when you were in your tertiary school, you need to have been studying in what? In French language. That is if, do you understand, you want to be selected under that, or you use another French proficiency test You understand, to show your level of 7 on the what, on the Quebec. And we have talked about the exams before: the TEF Canada, the TCF Canada, the TCF Quebec, the FAC, and things like that. So, and if you want to learn, yes, if you want to learn, that is where we come in. If you want to learn French, if you want to prepare for some of those examinations, of course, we can also assist you. You can go on our website, aosacademy.com, you understand, and we can actually train you through our online platform, you understand, and our virtual coaches. Now, moving on, what they are trying to say in essence is that they need people in Quebec, people that are in certain occupations, whether you are in health, whether you are in food processing, whether you are in information technology, artificial intelligence, or visual effects, you stand a fair chance. Do you understand? And they can accept you whether you have a qualification, you understand, what they call it, a qualification in any of those industries. Do you understand? And you can show that yes, you have not just the qualifications, you have the educational certificate, you have the work experience, and you have the what, the language proficiency test results to show it. So again, those are still the major three things that we always talk about that people should have: the experience, the what they call it, the education, and the language proficiency. In some of the programs, they will tell you that yes, you need to have the job offer attached to it as well. So basically, when it comes to immigration to Quebec is slightly different from Canada, the mainstream Canada, but you still stand a fair chance if you are willing to actually move to Quebec. Now, we have talked about Quebec a lot, you understand. Let me talk about other programs, other pilots that you can still expect, because yes, pilot programs, for those that know it, pilot programs are programs that last for 1 or 2 years. Do you understand? And there are programs that are temporary, though there are some programs, that reminds me, there are some programs that are shifted from being a pilot to a full-fledged program. Instances of those programs are rural and northern pilot program. The rural and northern pilot program of the mainstream Canada is a program that now you can actually have the opportunity to come in permanently, to stay in as a permanent resident of Canada through that program. And two, we also have the agri-food pilot program. That's another program that if you qualify for, you can also apply to and have the opportunity to become a permanent resident through it. Now, we also have other programs like the enhanced caregiver pilot program that Canada has informed us, because yeah, some of you may not qualify for this one that we're talking about in Quebec, but there are still some other programs that are coming up this year that you should also be expecting, that you can have the opportunity to get selected through, like the caregiver program I'm talking about. That program is a program that you see a lot of people in the healthcare sector would also have the chance of coming into Canada. And for those that were following the initial caregiver program, you know that for the initial caregiver program, is not that when you come into Canada, you become a permanent resident instantly. No, it doesn't work like that for the initial caregiver program. But the enhanced caregiver program that will soon be released, you understand, hopefully by the government of Canada, would allow people, as soon as you are entering into Canada, you understand, you will be able to what? You'll be able to apply and become a what? Become a permanent resident of the country. How sweet can that be? So if you want to actually have that opportunity to become, you understand, a permanent resident through that program, then you need to start working towards what? Gathering all your documentations. And what are these documentations? Again, we have talked about the major ones. We can still have other secondary documentations, but the major ones are just three in number. Do you understand? The first one is your educational credentials. Do you understand? And most times we advise people, do you understand? We suggest for you to quickly go get your A.O.S or your educational credential assessment sorted. You understand? Your ECA sorted, either from A.O.S, from ICES, from ICAS, any of the organization that you need to actually get them evaluated through. That's the first thing. The second thing is to get what? Is to get your work experience sorted. How many years of experience do you have, or even months of experience do you have? And how well can you actually prove it? Do you have your job reference letter? Do you have your pay stubs? Do you have your what they call it, your salary certificate letter or anything like that? What do you have to show as proof for it? The third thing is what? Your language proficiency. You need to get language proficiency documentation sorted. If you can speak English, then do you have your IELTS, or do you have your CELPIP, or do you have your PTE core results? If you are French speaking, you can speak French. Do you have your TEF Canada? Do you have your TCF Canada? Do you have your DAF? Do you have your TCF Quebec, or do you have your TEF Quebec? Which one do you have? That will determine the kind of programs you can apply to, whether be it under the mainstream Canada applications or programs, or whether be it under the Quebec programs. So that's just the update that we said we should give you today. If you have any questions, then you can drop it on the comment section. We really like to get you understand, the comment section, your comments and your questions. If you don't have any questions, don't forget to like, don't forget to share, and also subscribe to our channel, subscribe to our YouTube. We're on YouTube, subscribe to our Instagram, you understand, follow us on TikTok, and we would really like to actually hear from you. Even after this live session, you can also reach out to us again to learn more and to also ask your questions, and we will do justice to responding to them on the comment section. So thank you very much, everyone. I really, really do appreciate you coming on board and being a part of this live session. I hope you learned one or two things from it. If you have any clarifications you'd like to seek, you can also go on our website, aos.nim.ng, to actually learn more. Thank you very much, and do have a lovely day ahead. Bye for now, everyone. Au revoir. Bye.